Attention passionate Detroit, Lions fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Detroit Lions' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Detroit Lions fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Detroit Lions fans. Let's get to the news all right. Folks, buckle up because what we're hearing right now is nothing short of explosive. Rumors are swirling that the Detroit Lions might be making a bold move to bolster their secondary, and it involves none other than Derek Stingley Jr., the young cornerback from the Houston Texans. This potential trade could reshape not just our defensive unit, but also send shockwaves through the entire NFC North. I know, it sounds wild, but let's break it down and see what this could mean for the Lions, the Texans, and the division as a whole. First off, let's talk about Derek Stingley Jr., because he's a player worth keeping an eye on. The 24-year-old cornerback has shown flashes of elite talent when healthy, and that's the key here. He's been healthy in 2025, and his stats speak volumes. Over the course of this season, he's played 9 games, snagging 5 interceptions, which makes him the top cornerback on his team in that department. He's also got 16 pass defenses, 55 tackles, and a PFF grade of 91, making him one of the most impressive defensive backs in the league right now. His 2025 season has been nothing short of stellar, especially considering he's been able to stay healthy. No injuries, consistent high-level play, and a knack for making game-changing plays. What makes Stingley Jr. such a hot commodity is not just his stats, but his style of play. He's fast, instinctive, and possesses that rare ability to make plays on the ball. His 4.34-second 40-yard dash speaks volumes about his speed, which is exactly what the Lions need to shore up their secondary, especially with injuries impacting our offensive line and indirectly affecting our pass defense. His speed echoes what we saw from Jaire Alexander in Green Bay last season, where a quick, aggressive corner can elevate the entire team's coverage and create turnovers. Now, why would the Texans consider trading him? Well, Houston's roster situation is complicated. They're sitting at a 5-4 record but have some cap issues, with about $16 million in cap space for 2025. They're also dealing with a bit of a rebuild, especially on defense, which ranks 19th in EPA pass allowed. Their secondary has struggled at times, notably in games against teams with strong aerial attacks like the Colts. Losing Stingley Jr. would be a blow, but the Texans are reportedly eyeing a rebuild focused on their offensive line, which has been leaking points and allowing pressure. So a trade makes sense. Houston could be looking to recoup a second-round pick in the 2026 draft, specifically from Detroit, to focus on rebuilding their line and secondary. For Detroit, this potential acquisition is huge. The Lions are sitting at 5-3 after a quiet few weeks since the November 4th trade deadline, but they've been eager to upgrade their defense. Our secondary has been solid, but could really use that elite spark, especially with injuries and inconsistencies on the offensive line that have indirectly impacted our pass rush and coverage. Adding a player like Stingley Jr. would instantly boost our coverage EPA by around plus 19%, turning our secondary into a real lockdown unit. Imagine pairing him with Carlton Davis. That's a formidable duo capable of shutting down some of the division's best receivers. His instinctive playmaking ability, combined with his ball skills, can elevate our turnover rate. Right now, Detroit's defense is ranked around 12th in turnovers, but with a player like Stingley, we could push that top 5, creating more opportunities for our offense and turning the tide in close games. His aggressive style in zone and man coverage, along with his ability to contest deep passes, fits perfectly with the Lions' defensive philosophy. The rotation of Brian Branch creating mismatches in NFC North pass-heavy offenses, think Justin Jefferson and the Vikings' aerial attack, could get a serious boost. Plus, his presence would be especially important considering injuries on our line, such as the absence of players like DeAndre Swift, which has forced us to adapt defensively. With Stingley's speed and coverage skills, we could see a reduction in big plays allowed, which has been a concern this season. His ability to defend deep routes and contest throws would help us contain teams like the Bears, who have been averaging around 26 points per game, and limit the explosive plays that have hurt us in the past. But what about the impact on the division? Well, if Detroit is able to land Stingley, that's a game changer. It could propel us from a solid playoff contender to a serious Super Bowl threat. His addition might even boost our odds from +700 to around +3, 500, especially if we can leverage his playmaking in the postseason. The NFC North is already competitive with the Vikings and Bears trying to find their footing, but a lockdown secondary led by Stingley Jr. could be the final piece that pushes us over the edge. His ability to deny big plays, especially against teams like the Vikings, who have Jefferson and Thielen, would be crucial. Now let's put this into perspective. The Texans are probably looking at this as a chance to accelerate their rebuild, especially if they're planning to focus on their offensive line in the draft or free agency. Losing Stingley might hurt in the short term, but getting a second-round pick in 2026 gives them flexibility to target multiple areas. For Houston, it's about building from the trenches, fixing their pass protection, and hopefully turning their defense into a more disruptive unit down the line. For Detroit, the gamble is worth it. Stingley's youth, speed, and proven production make him a perfect fit, especially given our defensive scheme's reliance on versatile, ball-hawking corners. His ability to create turnovers can flip games, and with our current roster, he could be the missing piece that elevates us from good to great. Imagine a defense where Stingley, Davis, and Brian Branch work together to suffocate opponents, forcing turnovers and providing our offense with more opportunities to score. And don't forget, the Lions' front office has been aggressive this season, making moves that show they're not just content with a playoff appearance, they're aiming for the Super Bowl. A trade like this, if it happens, would send a statement to the NFC North and the entire league. Detroit is serious about competing at the highest level. The coaching staff, led by Dan Campbell, would love to have a player like Stingley, who can be a cornerstone for years to come, especially with his ability to match up against the league's top receivers. Of course, all of this is still speculation at this stage, but the buzz is real, and the possibility of a trade involving Derek Stingley Jr. has fans excited and analysts buzzing. It's a move that could define the future of our defense, and by extension, our championship aspirations. The NFL is all about talent, timing, and opportunity, and if the Lions pull this off, it could be one of the most impactful trades in recent franchise history. So as fans, we should keep an eye on how this develops. The Lions are sitting in a prime position to make big moves, and acquiring an elite cornerback like Stingley could be the catalyst that propels us into a new era of dominance. The NFC North is no longer just about who has the best offense or the most points. It's about who controls the secondary, who creates turnovers, and who can shut down the division's top threats. Detroit might just be about to make a statement, and I couldn't be more excited to see how it unfolds. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Detroit Lions news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And finally, fans, I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this trade makes sense for the Lions? Would Derek Stingley Jr. be the perfect piece to complete our defense? Or do you think the Texans will hold on to him and focus on their rebuild? Drop your opinions in the comments below. Your voice matters, and I love hearing what you think. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for everything Detroit Lions. We're on the verge of something special, and with moves like this, the sky's the limit. Let's keep the passion alive, and as always, go Lions.